All right, everybody. We have probably the most, well, we've said this about 3 times. This is going to be a highly controversial video.
This is going to spark debate.
We've had our Jerry Rice is overrated video. I know people who just heard me say that are probably not happy about it. And then we had our Michael Jordan versus LeBron James video. But to me, this is going to be the number one right here.
This is the one that seems to really catch heat really, really bad. This catches bad heat.
If you watch our channel regularly, I'm sure you know we're Panthers fans. I'm wearing a Cam Newton Yes We Cam shirt.
For a good reason.
And I'm wearing a Super Bowl 50 hat. And before we even get to it, I know we're going to hear the jokes of Cam Newton lost. This hat was $7 instead of $30, so did I really learn my lesson?
Yeah.
If they would have won, it would be about $50.
So, our video today is, as we're doing this, we haven't figured out what the title is going to be yet, because we're going to title it after the video, but we're talking about these people who just don't give Cam Newton the credit he deserves.
And I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? I see his face on NFL Network. I see this, I see that. Yeah, well, that's just because he's really... The networks really like him, but the fans, a lot of them, and then a lot of the analysts, tend to kind of give him the wrong type of... I don't want to say criticism, but like, I feel like we're going to get into a lot of this stuff. The fact that he was a number 1 overall pick, I've heard people go, well, he's the number 1 overall pick. He should be better than... Why are we penalizing the guy for being the best college player and going first in the draft?
Yeah, before we dive into this, we're not asking you to be a Cam Newton fan. That's not what
After watching this video, you probably will like him less, to be honest, because how hard we're going to push his...
We're not asking you to like him. We're just asking you to take things into consideration that you don't for other quarterbacks.
Yeah, we got some facts down here. We wrote down the facts.
We wrote down the facts.
That is an inside joke for a couple people, probably about 2 people that'll actually, if they even watch this. But anyway, we're probably going to go ahead and rattle off some facts. First off, Rookie of the Year. 4,000 yards first season, 4,051 to be exact. We're talking 21 passing touchdowns and 14 rushing and 706 rushing yards as a quarterback.
As a quarterback, as a rookie.
Okay, let's just go ahead and get into this. 14.
There, that kills the one good year argument right there.
Yeah, he was only good his MVP season. First of all, most players never won MVP, so that's already, you're already just sound ridiculous because very few players didn't win the MVP because so many duplicate winners like Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. So if you're able to dethrone those 2 guys one year, you had a good year, a great year. Then you got the fact that we're saying that's his only good year, but his rookie year is arguably the best rookie season ever.
Yeah.
We're talking 4,000 yards, almost 500 or 5,000 total yards if you add them both. Looking at about, like 4,800 yards?
Pretty close to it.
35 total touchdowns as a rookie? Don't give me that nonsense.
I don't see what the problem is.
And trust me, we're big-time Panthers fans. In 2010, I had to sit there and watch the misery of the 2010 NFL Panthers season. 2-14, worst offense. That changed real quick when he got in Newtown.
Changed very quickly.
It wasn't just his ability, it was the excitement he brought, which is a misconception because I think people think all the hype and the excitement and like the dancing and all that, they think that's all it is, but that's kind of what we wanted to kind of myth bust on a little bit today.
Another thing is his 2015 year, his MVP year, wasn't even the second best statistically his year. I mean, his second year in the league, he had more yards passing that year than did his MVP year too. So I mean,
his first year, you mean?
And his second.
Well, his second, how many did he have?
His second, he had 3,869. His MVP season, he had 3,837.
And a lot of people, his MVP season, were saying like, well, this is only a year he's been able to throw down field and do this and see all these reads and do all that. I mean, he had the most, first and second year, he had all those yards. I mean, obviously he was throwing to somebody.
Yeah, I mean, I just think the argument that, people, they will literally not count. Sometimes there's people who literally won't count his, rushing as part of his factor in the game.
Yeah, exactly.
We didn't draft Cam Newton to be a Peyton Manning. That's not what when he was drafted to do what he's doing. That's
exactly. Well, and another thing is a lot of people always do this thing with Cam where they go, well, Cam, he's all right, but if you look at the other guys like Carson Palmer and Peyton Manning and Tom Brady and Drew Brees and all that. Well, Nick Foles some of the years actually, he's been pretty solid. They'll compare him to those guys where they're at now, and they won't give any type of advantage to Cam because he's in a different part in his career. You go look at it, first 7 years, 3rd all-time in total yards.
You have
I have a little chart right here. Let me go ahead and open it up. We're going to definitely use this.
These are through his first 7 years.
First 7 years.
Compared to every other quarterback in the history of the NFL.
Exactly. Quarterback. So first in rushing yards, because we're talking about quarterbacks. First in rushing yards out of any NFL quarterback in history. First 7 years, he has 4,320, which is a pretty ridiculous figure to begin with.
It is.
Eighth in passing yards. So all those people saying, "Oh, all he can do is run." Well, you get everybody else's first 7 years, and only 7 other guys have more passing yards than him. And I know they don't have more rushing yards.
Only 7 out of every quarterback in the history of the NFL.
You name your best 10 quarterbacks. Go ahead.
We'll see.
Okay, a certain amount of them, they don't have as many yards as him passing.
Yeah.
Just passing, not even his rushing.
Yeah, we're talking just passing.
First in rushing touchdowns, that's a no-brainer. He has more than about every player
He's
since
the
he got in
all-time
the league.
leading. He's the all-time leading rushing touchdown leader for quarterbacks.
He has 54. And his rookie year, by the way, when I said he had 14, the old record was like 12 or 11 or something like that.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he just barely broke it. Third in total yards, or total touchdowns.
Third
in total touchdowns. You talk about rushing, passing, anything you want to, any figure you want to, all their touchdowns, you add them up, he has the third amount most. Second in total yards, passing and rushing, 29,394. Third quarterback with 3,000 passing yards in 7 straight seasons.
Only the third one.
I'm not hearing a guy who can only run, alright?
He's thrown 3,000 yards at least every year. Every year.
He's had
rookie year through 4,000.
An average of about 500 plus. I think he had one season where he only had 450 rushing yards, but he's had about 500 more every other year.
Let's see.
What's his least amount of rushing yards?
In a single season?
Yeah.
Last season, 2016 season.
He still had like 400 plus, I remember.
He had, that was playoffs. Let's see. That year, Cam only had 359. 2016 season. 359 rushing yards.
That's a career low.
That's a career low.
Another
for
thing,
a quarterback.
Another thing I wanted to go over is I wrote down a list of guys. I remember personally all the NFL, these even network analysts saying, this guy's better than Cam Newton, this guy's equal to Cam Newton, can Cam Newton outplay this guy, should this guy be drafted in front of him? All the way back to coming out of college. When I name some of these, you're going to probably laugh, and these are literally people that were compared to Cam Newton, and some of them were even considered better than him. Ryan Mallett, Andrew Luck. I know you're thinking Andrew Luck. Well, he's been hurt about every other year.
He's only played, what, like 4 years, 3 years?
I mean, he's probably played a total of like 3 seasons worth of games, it seems like.
Yeah.
And his numbers are really not even like as good as Cam's, like if you look at him.
They're not.
I mean, I'm sure his like completion percentage rate and all that. RG3, a lot of these guys are out of the league. These are guys that we said are going to be better than Cam for decades, and all these people are out of the league or not even starting. RG3, Tim Tebow, Jimmy Clausen. When Cam got to town, I remember they were saying, is he even going to be able to outbeat Jimmy Clausen for the starting job?
That's what they said.
That took about 2 seconds. Colin Kaepernick, Blaine Gabbert, Christian Ponder, Josh Freeman, Jake Locker, Sam Bradford. You got to at least give it to me that he has outplayed these guys right here.
You can't say that analysts didn't say that he would not be as good as those guys.
I remember him clearly saying, Josh Freeman, pick him instead of picking Cam Newton. He's a better quarterback. He's way better. I remember people saying that. Sam Bradford, he is a franchise quarterback, but he's hurt all the time. He's moved around to 3 different teams in about 8 years. Jake Locker, he lasted about 2 years. People are saying they should pick him in front of Cam.
I was just sitting here, so I'm looking at some comparison stats. I'm comparing things like, since Cam always is criticized, for his passing abilities. I'm looking at things like yards per attempt. I'm looking at somebody like Joe Montana, who averaged 7.5 yards an attempt. And then I click back over here to Cam, and he averaged 7.3 an attempt through his 7th year. So we're talking 0.2 of a yard difference per attempt for Joe Montana, who people consider the greatest passer of a football of all time.
A lot of people would say that.
And his biggest criticism, I would say, in most people's opinions, is his passing abilities, is it not? I mean, I would think so.
Usually you always have to hear about his completion percentage rate and a lot of all that stuff. But the thing is, the minute they got Christian McCaffrey this past year, they gave him, for the first time he's ever had, a pass receiving, running back. Like, we haven't had a dump-off guy. Olsen you can say, but Olsen's more of a downfield threat. Not really a check-down guy. I mean, he's usually 15 yards down. They gave him that. His completion percentage rate went up.
It's a 60.
It's a 60. That's not great, but I mean, for a mobile quarterback, how are you going to argue with that?
His career average completion percentage is 58.5.
That's like the main knock on him, and that's not even like a really, really important statistic. I mean,
just in comparison, once again, to Joe Montana.
I mean, he hasn't had the greatest receivers either. I mean, everybody likes to make all these jokes about how Ted Ginn couldn't catch and all that, but at the same time, they make fun of his pass, like his percentage rate.
They make fun of Ted Ginn for dropping footballs, but then...
And also, with that, another thing is that 2015 season and the 2013 season, we had Ted Ginn, and they would go deep all the time, so you're obviously going to have less completions. So, I mean, it's going to hit that percentage pretty hard. The type of offense they were running for at least about 3 seasons I can think of was deep, let's hit them downfield, especially the MVP season. And then we're going to let the run complement it. And, I mean, when you're taking that many shots downfield, I mean, you're not going to have 70%. I mean, by any...
You're just not. It's just not. Unless you're Drew Brees, it's just not going to work.
I mean, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. They've always compared him to right now Cam Newton to right now Drew Brees. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, no other quarterbacks, they don't do that with Russell Wilson. They don't do that with Dak Prescott. They don't do that with any of these guys. And by the way, Dak Prescott, I was thinking about adding him to this list, but I want to do it with guys that were drafted a year or two away. But Dak Prescott, he had one good rookie year, and everybody was saying, I'd rather have him than Cam Newton.
They really were.
I remember that. People were saying, I'd rather have him than Cam Newton.
They'd rather have a rookie who couldn't win a playoff game than a guy who's been to the Super Bowl. That's what they said.
Yeah, I mean, and you're looking at a guy who's won MVP, won Rookie of the Year. He's had 4,000 yards his first year. He's had 3,000 yards every single season. He has about 500 rushing yards every year, about 5+ rushing touchdowns every year. And we're going to say Dak Prescott, a guy who's been put in the best offensive line maybe of all time.
Potentially has a guy who could end up going down. I'm not saying he is. He could end up going down as the best running back of all time.
A top 5 running back.
He could end up that good.
A top 5, in my opinion, all-time tight end. A top 5, arguably, Des Bryant receiver.
Best offensive line ever assembled in
football. I mean,
football.
and it's just ridiculous. It's like right there. It just shows you that people will go to know. They make it their mission to like find people that of a statistic you can be like, well, he's better than Cam Newton, or this guy's better.
They pick the most minute things to pick on. I hate to just pick twice.
Well, and another thing we wanted to go over in this video, we definitely want to say this. We are Panthers fans, and I know people are going to be like, well, your opinion's skewed. Well, I see why you think that, but the thing is, I feel like we're going to have a more harsh assessment of him.
We should. Because what we want to see happen every week solely depends on him.
Well, yeah, and if you're around us enough, like some people that watch the games with us, we're always really criticizing certain guys. All the fan favorite guys that have gotten cut when Gettleman came in, we were like, I agree with that. They should have got rid of him. They should have moved on from him. So it's not just a fan favorite.
I agreed with letting go of Steve Smith.
Steve Smith is my favorite player of all time. It wouldn't have worked with him and Cam Newton. They was going to clash eventually. They got rid of one of them.
It was the right move.
I think it was the right move, like in some ways, but the thing is, I see why they did it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm not just when there comes a day where I think Cam Newton he isn't the best like option for quarterback. I will say they need to get rid of him. But the thing is, I'm not taking up for him to take up for him. I'm taking up for him because I'm like I like what he's doing.
Yeah, I just don't understand. He came in the league and everybody was like, he's Cam, but he'll never be that good.
He's the flavor of the week. He's the new mobile quarterback.
He can't make the transition as a mobile quarterback. Well, then year 6 he broke the all-time touchdown record on the ground for quarterbacks, and then it was like, he probably won't win playoff games too much. Well, then he started winning playoff games, and
2013, 14, 15, they went to playoffs every year.
Then it was like, is he really gonna ever do anything real marketable like win MVP? Well, then he won an MVP, and then it's like, well, he'll never make it to a Super Bowl, and then he made it to a Super Bowl, and it's like. Now it's literally like...
And then all the people that said he wouldn't do all those previous things, they were like, well, we knew he wouldn't win the Super Bowl. Well, you also said you knew that he wouldn't go to a playoff game, win a playoff game, be in the league for more than 5 years. Oh, and all these people that would say, Cam Newton, he's running his rookie year. He won't be doing that. He's going to end up like RG3. He's going to... year 7, he had more rushing yards than any year.
Most rushing yards in a single season, year 7.
Yeah, he broke his own...
He's 28 years
career
old.
best at year 7, like well into his career.
Year 28 is the most he's ever ran on the ground.
That's ridiculous. I mean, I just remember all these people in his rookie year, they were like, oh, Cam Newton, he's not going to be running like that in about 2 or 3 years. I guarantee you he won't. Well, that was a complete load of...
By the way, he ran for 754 yards on 139 attempts.
The man is the Carolina Panthers' best running threat. I said it. Another thing I wanted to go over.
He averages 5.2 a carry.
We thought about, I don't know what we're going to name it like you said, but we thought about naming it Cam Newton equals best mobile quarterback of all time. I know we're going to hear the Michael Vick argument, but the thing about Michael Vick is, first of all, his first 3, when did he throw 4,000 yards? My real question. Cam Newton did it year 1. Another thing is his touchdowns were not there. He ran for a lot of yards, and by the way, he was never a power running threat. Cam Newton is the only legitimate power rushing quarterback threat in the history of the league.
I've seen him cause number on like 3rd and 5.
I've seen him run the ball up the middle like 3rd and 3 on like a very regular basis.
It's not uncommon if you watch every Panthers game. It's not uncommon to see like a 4th and 1 or maybe 2, and then go.
And Michael Vick was notorious for running like 2 like 30 to 40 yard runs like in a game. Like one half he'd run like 40 yards, and the other half he'd run like 30.
Cam Newton
is a consistent running threat. I'm talking 5 6 yards at a time. He can, and he still. He still had an 80 yard or 71 yard run.
He's the only quarterback in NFL history to have 2 65+ yard carries in the same season.
Yeah, and he did that this past year.
Year 7 he did that, by the way. There's never been a quarterback to have 2 65 yards or more carries in the same season. It's never happened. He's the only one.
And there's no quarterback that I can think of that was like a legitimate power running threat. Like, I'm not talking like, oh, well, Tom Brady, he does his 4th and 1 up the middle. That doesn't count. I'm talking 3rd and 3, they call his number on a regular basis. He can get out of scrambles by just...
They'll call like a boot.
I mean, his second game ever. Go back and watch the tape. Second game ever. They're playing the Packers. He was sitting in the pocket like this. Clay Matthews comes, hits him right from behind. Everybody was... I remember they were doing the hype. They were like, Cam Newton faces his first ever big-time pass rusher. Like, how's he going to react to it? He just shrugged Clay Matthews off and then ended up making a play. Go back and watch the tape.
He's a second-year player.
No, he's a second game player.
All right, second. Yeah, that's what I mean.
He just shrugged off at Clay Matthews, top 5 edge rusher in the league. Just get off me, son. And he ended up making a play. He's the only person that has ever done that at quarterback before. I mean, you can say Donovan McNabb and Warren Moon, but I mean, just being strong in the pocket. Now, Steve McNair kind of is a little bit, but
there's never been anybody that's as strong in the pocket, as strong at power running. You can say he's not fast all you want, but I've seen him bust off 2 70+ yard runs this season, so he's obviously fast.
I mean, year 7. I mean, go back and watch his 2011 against the Buccaneers. We ran about a 60-yard run. I was there in person. He split the safeties in half.
He's the only one. He's the only quarterback that can absolutely not be tackled when 2 DNs hits him and split safeties up the middle.
I mean, and go watch the Atlanta Falcons.
Find another quarterback that can do it.
Go watch his top 100 video from 2000 when he was number 1. That's another thing. He was voted number 1 by his peers, but all these analysts say he's not good, even though the guys he plays against every week voted him number 1 at one point in his career. Also, he won MVP that year. Go watch the tape from the Falcons. Go watch that video, and they show the footage from the Falcons game where he got a 3rd and 8, and he ran up the middle. About 6, I'm not even exaggerating.
It was 6 players.
About 6 Atlanta Falcons were like trying to grab him and stop him, and he just started trucking all of them and just pulling them off.
He wouldn't go down.
He reached over and got them, like, went across the line and got the first down.
Name another quarterback who
does that. The man is a mutant. There's no quarterback like him.
The thing is, that's the stuff we drafted him to do. We didn't draft him to sit in the pocket and throw 5,000 yards a season.
I'm not saying he's going to pocket pass with Drew Brees and all that, but I'm saying he can do it good enough and then make plays passing and then mix with his running ability. Yeah, I'll take it.
I'll absolutely take it any day.
54 rushing touchdowns, that's more than a lot of decent running backs.
He leads the Carolina Panthers in rushing touchdowns and passing touchdowns.
He'll probably end up beating the rushing yards record. I would not doubt it.
He's the franchise holder for both forms of touchdowns.
The only thing he won't beat is receiving. That's it.
Receiving and defensive touchdowns. That's the only 2 he won't beat. He can't.
That's another thing. Everybody always wants to talk about, oh, he didn't jump on the ball in the Super Bowl. Okay, I think he was more in shock. I didn't think he was like, I'm going to make a conscious decision and not get on the football, like everybody likes to say. By the way, if you look at the alternate angle, you can see somebody that would have clipped his knee.
DeMarcus Ware if you look at alternate
nobody ever takes the time to look at that, but that's what happened.
Nobody takes time to dig. There's an alternate angle that's directly looking at Cam like this, like straight down the field long ways, behind the Broncos defense. And if you look at it, DeMarcus Ware is helmet to knee. It's very close. It doesn't look like it from the side angle, but when you watch it, he's about to just get his knee.
If you look at it, Ryan Quill was like right here to the ball. He could have just scooped it up. So I think part of it was Cam was like thinking he was going to do it. He didn't want to get in there and try to ruin it. The man was 4.5 yards away from the ball. I mean, they act like he was going to get over there before people that were 6 inches away from him.
Another thing is these people who say, well, it's a Super Bowl, you got to throw your body on the line. Well, you also got to get up, and let's say you do get the ball, you got to keep on playing to go win. So you can't.
What I was going to get to is, I heard Cam address it before, and he made a good point. He was saying he's the only quarterback that if he throws an interception, that he's going to go make the tackle. Like, I mean, go look at his defensive stats. It's hard to find, but if you go on NFL.com, you can find it. He has legitimate defensive stats. He has like 3 tackles a year. That means every time, each year, whenever there's an interception, he's trying to hunt the guy down. I've seen a couple times where he laid a hit on him.
It's
I mean, he
absolutely
did.
ridiculous. This
When we do
criticism.
the reverses with Ted Ginn and Curtis Samuel now,
He'll throw a block.
He literally throws blocks, like not like getting in the way like Tom
On
Brady,
D lineman.
like where they do like a pick. He like centers them up and like throws them back.
He'll hit a D lineman. He has no problem.
I've seen him do it, yeah, a couple of times. I mean, the dude is willing to put his body in the line. We don't have to hear all that garbage about how he didn't get on the football in the Super Bowl. The man was in shock. It was seriously, they were lost the game already. Everybody breaks it down and they rewatch it, and it feels, if people act like he made a conscious decision.
People act like he had 20 minutes to sit there and make.
They act like he made a pros and cons list and was like, yeah, I don't feel like it. Like,
it's a split-second instant decision you make within half a second.
I mean, let's be honest. The game was lost by then. It was about 2 minutes left, and they had like multiple.
They were down
scores.
by 5, I think, or something.
Yeah, I mean, and they were on their own 20 or something.
They had to go score a touchdown.
I mean, yeah, I wish he would have gotten it. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, are we just gonna sit here and like just because we can go back and watch it all these times doesn't mean like we're making the moment more than it was. We're acting like it wasn't a split-second thing in time.
Yeah,
like, it was. And that's like, that's the only knock you have on him. Oh, okay, he doesn't do good press conferences. Tell me when a good press conference won somebody a game, because then I'll be complaining about it.
I don't care what he does in press conferences.
I don't care what he says.
I don't care if he wins.
I don't care if he leaves a Super Bowl conference early. I don't care if he says something stupid. I don't care. I want him to get touchdowns, and that's what he does.
I want him to put points on the board, and he does it. And he's won an MVP while he's done it, and he's took us to the Super Bowl, and he's won playoff games. So you know what?
Exactly.
I'll take a little bit of you not liking his press conference.
And if you're a legitimate Panthers fan, I've seen some people that are like, "Oh, I wish we would get rid of Cam and all." If you're an actual and you watch every game, there's no way you can tell me you're not glad Cam Newton's a quarterback. I watched him in 2010, 2-14, worse offense, worse passing, worse rushing, all that. There's no excitement. There's nothing. He comes in, redefines what a quarterback can be, and redefines the Panthers as an organization.
Took us to a Super Bowl within 5 years.
Took us to the playoffs 13, 14, 15, 16. He didn't, which he got grilled so hard for not doing that. And then next year he just takes us again. We went, what was it, 12-4, 11-5? Something like that. 11-5.
11-5.
Yeah, I mean, the man has pretty much single-handedly turned around the entire franchise.
11-5, yep.
And this is the other thing I wanted to hit on. The reason why he gets so much scrutiny, and I mean, there's a lot of reasons for it. But I think it's the dancing and his let's just be honest, his beautiful smile pisses people off.
His pearly white teeth.
I mean, tell me that's not what it is. And another thing is the way he's redefined the quarterback position. It's set a new standard for all these other quarterbacks.
Well, the thing is, I think another knock on talking about the redefining of the quarterback position. Everybody said this. His biggest knock coming out of college was you can't play this style of quarterback in the NFL. It's not ever going to work.
Yeah, I remember that.
And he's making it work, and you don't like it.
Yeah, well, you don't it because
but you don't like it.
You know, you're used to your quarterback. You know, you can't be running all over people like you do in college. That's not going to work. Guys get bigger and stronger and faster and all that. Yeah, they do, and it doesn't matter because he's one of the guys that's.
He's getting bigger, stronger.
Like it's the opposite. Like if you're a linebacker and you're going in, it needs to be the reverse now. It needs to be, hey, you can't play like There's going to be guys like Cam Newton now that it should be flipped.
Yeah. It should be.
It should be. I think it should be.
I mean, Deshaun Watson's not even that big of a guy, but we saw him take the college quarterback style to the pros and successfully.
And you can say Michael Vick's the founding father of the rushing and mobile quarterback. You can keep going back. Warren Moon, Steve McNair. I mean, heard Fran Tarkenton. That's ridiculous though. But I mean, Cam Newton, he has redefined those guys scramble. This dude is a legitimate rushing threat. Like I'm talking up the middle, up the A gap.
I've heard Bill Belichick say he is public enemy number one.
Yeah, I've heard
when
Bill
it comes
Belichick,
to planning for quarterbacks, he says he's the hardest one.
He was like mobile quarterbacks. We played Wilson, we played this guy, we played Watson, we played this is the dude right here.
Bill Belichick.
I mean,
if you want to go argue with Bill Belichick, you go right ahead. But
I've heard Michael Robinson on the NFL Network. He was on the Seahawks. He was a fullback for them for a while. He was like, this dude is make no mistake about it, the best red zone threat we've ever seen in this league
ever. There's so many options he could possibly
When he does that, when he gets over there on the 2-yard line and he does that shotgun and he jumps over the line, you cannot stop that. You can't. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Have somebody jump across and meet him? They've tried that before. It never works.
It doesn't work. It doesn't matter what they try. It doesn't work.
So we just really wanted to basically cover this topic.
And we want to hear your opinion.
We know we're waiting on the comments. I think it'll be funny to read them. If it's anything like our Jerry Rice video and our Michael Jordan video comments, I'll probably get a good laugh out of it.
We really want to hear them, though. I really want to... We'd love to hear points to go back and touch on.
Trust me, we'd love to make another one of these. We like making these bold, over-the-top videos. It's kind of funny to see the comments, and
We really don't know what we're naming this video still. We've been going for...
I would say we'll ask you, but by the time we have it up, it'll already be there. So
it'll have a title, yeah. So
I'm thinking either Cam Newton is the best mobile quarterback ever, but I know that'll be a little long, or Cam Newton, why he's underrated, because I know people would get angry seeing that, because he's, like, talked about so much. It's not a guy you think of as being underrated. But it's definitely a good, interesting topic we wanted to hit on.
Well, the video has a title by the time you're watching it. So
yeah.
It already has a title now that you're looking at it.
And, oh yeah, we meant to hit, which most people probably aren't listening anymore because they're tired of hearing us get all up on Cam Newton. We haven't been making as many videos as we've been doing these podcasts. We've talked to a lot of guys on...
It seems like we haven't made a video in a while, but we've actually been making a lot of...
I mean, we put the audio up here for you, so you get to at least get something, but we haven't had any videos.
But we've been having a lot. Like, we have been covered up completely.
Last time I counted, I think we had like 18 or something.
Our schedules are completely full, each of us. So.
I mean, this is the first weekend we haven't had one in a while. Let's see.
It was nice. It was almost nice to have a little bit of a break, almost.
Here's some guys that they might know that we've had on recently.
Let's see. We had
a
Jamil
boxer.
Herring.
Yeah, boxer Jamil Herring. He's a pro boxer. He go look him up. He was on a video with Floyd Mayweather. He was in his gym. We had Reese Humphrey. He's a big time college wrestler, and he's helping guys go to the Olympics. He's actually training with TJ Dillashaw right now.
I'll read a couple off for us right now. All right. We've had...
We're talking to a Cowboy. If you're a Cowboy fan, we got one of their tight ends messaging us right now. I don't know if we'll be able to seal the deal, but I'm definitely going to give it my best shot.
Depending on how much, maybe Olympic-style wrestling, you might have heard of Reese Humphrey. We talked to him. We talked to Adam Geddes from the Buccaneers.
He's on the Buccaneers right this second.
Currently on the Buccaneers.
Jarvion Williams.
We've had Don Jackson.
Running back. Just like Jarvion Williams, who's on the Bengals right this second.
Maybe for some people who remember back in the day, we've had, I mean, they're kind of old, but we'll throw some names out there. We had Nick Harris. He was a linebacker for the Panthers and the Giants.
Or the Bills. The
Bills, yeah.
Which, by the way, as you could probably notice by now, we're big-time Panthers fans, and he was telling us about the inside look to the locker room, just much like Austin Duke did, the receiver for the Panthers. He's on I think he's on the practice squad right now, but he gets moved up and down all the time.
Steven Garcia, he used to play for the Gamecocks. He was our quarterback.
First quarterback ever.
A lot of CFL guys, and you want to check out the CFL podcast because those are really interesting. The rule change, the little bit of rule differences from the CFL to the NFL are very interesting. There's a couple little things with receivers and D linemen and punt returners and stuff like that. You got to go check them out to hear the little bit of rule changes.
We got cups for you. We got mugs. We got shirts. We got all that stuff. Let me go get a mug for him. I'll show him real quick.
Oh, we'll get a mug. Go get it.
Let me go get one.
Let's see.
If they're still watching this one.
Gonna walk right in front of the camera here. That's all right.
That's the first time we've done that yet.
I think it's the first time we've even got up in a video.
They probably have. They don't know what my frame looks like.
Let's see. So that's a mug. I don't know if you can maybe sit. There you go. That might be a little bit better. It's got a little bit of a glare from the light. I'm trying to move it and get the light kind of reflecting off of it right. We
got shirts. This is kind of the same look to it. Well, actually, the letters are red, but
the letter on our shirts. If
the refuse is red, I think. No, the PM is red.
The PM is red. I think this might be white, and the shirt's black. You can go find one of our old videos, and one of us is wearing them. There's a couple videos where we're wearing them.
We tend to wear the same shirts a lot, so literally about probably like a third of our videos, one of us are wearing it. A couple of them are both wearing it.
If y'all would like a mug, this light is making it really hard. If y'all would like a mug or a shirt, all you got to do is go over our Twitter.
If you're not a fan of Cam Newton, you probably won't buy, or you probably won't want to.
Yeah, you probably don't even want to remotely even click on our channel ever again if you don't like Cam Newton.
You won't like it.
The table's too low.
But we probably will make a continuation of this Cam Newton thing because this is a very intriguing topic for me. I really like.
And tell us a player you think's underrated.
I was actually thinking about. So I was going to tell you about it. You guys get to hear the planning of a video for the first time ever. We should do like a highlight series where we'll pick a player and highlight him and talk about how.
Tell us a player you think's underrated, and we'll do everything in our absolute possibility. We will sit down for hours upon hours upon hours and do research, watch videos, watch anything you want us to watch to make an argument for your player. If you really think they're underrated, and we watch it and we agree, we'll do it.
We'll do it.
Absolutely, we'll do it.
Give us point two. We'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. So, mugs. Shirts that we don't have on for some reason.
Comment and all that. Tell us how much you think Cam Newton's overrated and you don't like him.
Please tell us. We want to hear it. So, thanks for listening to this one, guys. I'm talking to the mug, and it's making it different. Thanks for listening, guys. We appreciate it. Please check out the podcast. We're trying to really set the podcast off. We want it to get big, too.
Check it right now, right this second.
Yeah, stop the video and go check it out on iTunes. No reason not to. So, thanks for listening, guys. Check it out.
Peace out, hombres.
We'll see you next time.